Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. This is the new Carbon Eon. So, new from Elite for 2025. It replaces the Elite Carbon Era. If I hold up both bows, you will see they're identical. Cams are identical. Limbs are identical. Risers are identical. Okay. 31 inches axle, 336 feet per second, 7-inch brace height. 7-inch brace height means you'll get less shakes like that when you're shooting. Means it'll be a little bit more forgiving, means it's a little bit slower. If it was 6-inch brace height, it'd be faster, it'd be up around the 345 feet per second. Okay, so why, if you own this, why would you want to buy this? And how does this compare to the other carbon bows in the market and the other bows in the market? Okay. So this is a binary cam system. So you've got a cam at the top and a cam down the bottom. You've got a limb stop and a cable stop. Okay, it's a system that Elite use on all their bows. It's a good system. Fully adjustable draw length, fully adjustable valley. So you can adjust the sides of the valley and the let off on the valley. Fantastic system. The tuning system, so you can pivot the limbs, so you can adjust how the arrow tears in the target. Look, when it comes to things I like in bows, they're the things I like. Adjustability in draw length, adjustability in valley, adjustability in let off, and it's got a limb locking feature just there, which I really like. So when it comes to any bow on the market, they're the things I'm looking for. Right, so some archers complained, and all archers are going to complain, and what they complained about is when they did the tuning, this cam would come too close to the string. So now what Elite have put on is a yoke system. Yoke systems are coming back in fashion. And basically what it's doing is balancing the limbs here. Now, you've got a tuning system here which can still tilt the limbs. So, I'm like, does it help? Look, maybe it does because it's balancing and it makes the bow easier to get the alignment because it's pulling evenly on both sides. Right, so what's the negative of yoke system? You've got rid of the limb stop, so there's no limb stop anymore. So before you could have adjusted the size of the valley, the let off, through using limb stops and cable stops. Now you don't have that ability because you've got rid of the limb stop. You can still adjust the valley and you can still adjust the thing, but it's not as adjustable as it was before. But with that, you've got a yoke system. Okay. Is it a big thing? Look, I don't feel it's a big thing. And if it was a big thing, Elite would do this on all their bows, and they haven't, and maybe Elite will put this on all the bows. I don't think it'll be a big selling point for Elite. I don't see, if you've got the Era, why you're going to swap to the Eon. I just don't see why you're going to do that. Right, okay, so how does this bow sit in the marketplace compared to the other carbon bows in the marketplace? The price is pretty equivalent, right? It's a little bit cheaper in Australia compared to the Bowtech carbon bow, compared to the PSE carbon bow, about the same price as the PSE carbon bow, compared to the Hoyt carbon bow, a little bit cheaper, and I can't even think. So Bowtech is more expensive, Hoyt's probably more expensive, PSE is about the same price. What's different about this carbon bow? This is carbon all the way through. With Hoyt, you've got a cross of aluminium and carbon. With Bowtech, you've got aluminium carbon. With PSE, you've got foam carbon. This is carbon all the way through. 4 pounds, so it's not the lightest of the carbons. In fact, now there is aluminium bows lighter than this bow. So what's the advantage of carbon versus aluminium? Heat. The bow's not going to get hot and not going to get cold like an aluminium riser will get. Right, so it's got roller cable slides, which I like. You can tune that in and out. I've never adjusted these, but I like the ability to be able to do it. Okay, and I'm not telling anyone to adjust this because what I find is people stuff around with everything. They don't know what they're doing, and then they break it. Okay, I've never touched one of these. It doesn't make a difference. Don't touch it. Don't touch stuff. Okay. Not unless you're a skilled archer of a high standard, and when I say a high standard, certainly much better than me. Okay, so, and that's not having a go at me or anything like that. It's just what I find is beginners stuff around with everything because I think it's the bow. The bows are amazing. All bows are amazing, right? We have so much variation in ourselves that the bow shoots the same arrow every time regardless. But if you're a better archer and you shoot deer at 70 meters and you practice every single day, well then these features are cool. You will like this stuff because you can get your broadhead arrow and your field point arrow at 70 meters hitting the same spot. You can, because it's got all the tuning, and you can make this bow feel exactly the way you want it to feel. Now when it comes to carbon versus aluminium, I'm a bit mixed, because while the Elite grip feels a bit like the aluminium grip, I think I still prefer the Elite aluminium grip. Okay? On some of the other bows on the marketplace, the carbon grips are a bit bigger and a bit chunkier than the normal aluminium grips. And I think I prefer the look of the aluminium riser compared to the carbon riser, just as a thing. It's not that I don't like this bow. I do like the bow. I think this is a nice bow. I've never shot this bow. But I really like Elite. I like the fact, you can see these limbs are not under much tension. I just don't get any limb warranties. The cams are solid. If you dry fire the bow, you derail the bow, you're probably going to break the cams. Okay, you're up for $400. Don't dry fire your bow. Don't give your bow to your mate to pull back with his fingers. You've got the ability for a two-piece quiver. Elite have just come out with a two-piece quiver, which is cool. It's expensive, and probably a little bit too much on the expensive side. You've got little rubber here if you're shooting a drop-away rest. This is good. Look, it's a nice bow. It's just, is it better than the aluminium bow? It's a little bit more expensive than the aluminium bow, and I don't know if it's just that much better. I think the way for Elite to go in the future is to go to a magnesium riser, to a lighter weight magnesium riser, the same way Bowtech has done this year, and people are going to say it the same way as Matthews has done. I haven't seen one of the Matthews bows, so I can't really speak of that, but I think that's the way forward with Elite, to come up with a more expensive bow. But how do I rate this bow, and where does it sit with the Yoke system and all that? I had 2 people return Elites because they weren't happy of not having Yokes. 2, and how many Elite bows have I sold? Lots, over 1,000. So I had 2 people. I think 2. Definitely 1. I feel like there was 2. Right. So the draw. This will feel the same as all the other Elites. You've got Elite has got the option to change your modules here. From performance to smooth, the difference is about 7 feet per second. The smooth will feel smoother to draw back and won't dump into the valley. This has got the performance, so this is going to dump into the valley a bit. I prefer the smooth mods, okay, because I just think it's smoother getting in. I just don't know about 5 feet per second. I just don't think it's a big deal. I prefer the smoothness. Right, this is a 70-pound bow, and I've wound it down, so it feels pretty solid. And there, look, it's pretty good. The draw length is meant to be 29. It feels a bit long for me. We're going to shoot the shot. It's quiet, no vibration. It's a beautiful bow, like absolutely beautiful. If I go to the target, I haven't shot this bow before, so the fact that the arrow's actually hitting the target is just pure arse. There's no skill involved. Like their penetration was, it's up to the knock in the target. Look, the performance to me felt really good. It didn't dump into the valley as much as I expected, and not as much as I felt it do in the past on the performance mods. So I've got quite a few Elites I own and shoot. I'm pretty sure I've got them all smooth, and I probably all started with performance. This felt good. Didn't feel... I'll just shoot the other target. The grip feels good. Like the bow just sits there, like it's not doing any vibration. Now, people with carbon versus aluminium, Win, which is a recurve manufacturer, has got a whole bunch of carbon bows, right? And they've got aluminium bows, and there's a whole push about carbon versus aluminium when it comes to recurve Olympic archery. The theory was carbon was meant to absorb more shock and vibration and meant to be stronger, so more rigid. So the riser flexes less and meant to absorb more shock. I can't tell the difference on the recurve, and I certainly can't tell the difference on the compound. It feels good to draw. The vibration is negligible. I can't feel any vibration at all with the shot. It's quiet. It's really good. Now the paint finish. This is some sort of paint. It feels, when I say rough, it's not rough, but it's not smooth. Okay. So with a smooth finish, your hand tends to just float around the place. This is not a rough finish like sandpaper, but I'm going to say it's a textured finish. So it's quite warm today, and my hands are quite, I'm going to say, clammy, sweaty, and the bow's not moving around in my grip. It feels solid. It feels good. A lot of people will fit grip around their handles to stop their hands when they're sweaty slipping on the riser. I'm not a fan of that because I'm more about getting your hand in the right place every time. I will say, when you derail the bow, so pull the strings off the cams, this yoke will come and smack into these cams and damage the cams, but you're probably going to damage the cams anyway when you derail the bow. So don't derail the bow. PSE had that problem with the yokes smashing into the cams on a derail, and they changed to plastic yokes so that the yokes would break and not the cam. Okay, but generally in a derail, the cams will bend. Okay, they'll bend over and they've got to be replaced. I think we'll go outside and we will shoot and sort of see how we shoot. But to me, like, this is over 60 and I'm drawing it back easy. It feels like it hits hard. It feels really, really good. Now, to adjust the valley, this little stop here moves forward. So basically it's reducing the size of the valley. And then also the let off. So if you want to reduce the let off, you just move this forward. Simple. What they've also fitted from one year to the next, they've fitted these little Piccadilly mounts, so you can fit a bow stand on this, and also a sling. So Elite have got a sling which bolt onto this. That doesn't exist in last year's model. So the sling clips onto there and onto there, so you can carry it around you when you're hunting. Cool feature. It's a good thing. Rear stabilizer, front stabilizer. Look, I think it's good. Now, when I compare all bows, a lot of bows now come with a little stabilizer to absorb vibration. This doesn't have a little stabilizer down the front here to absorb vibration, and it certainly feels just as good as any other bow in the market, if not better. I'm still questioning whether I'd shoot this with smooth versus performance, but it's very, very good. Let's go outside and have a shot and see how well I shoot. Okay, I'm back at 40 meters because one of the viewers said, can you do your shots a little bit further? Now, one of the issues about shooting further is you're affected by weather. So today's there's more wind than there was the other day when I shot the Hoyt Ventum 33. So that was completely still day. Today there's more wind, so it's a little bit gusty. I don't have a peep sight in this bow today, and I haven't hit the gold before I've done this video, right? So my arrows were to the right, I have moved my sight, so hopefully they'll be, but it takes longer because I've got to walk down there, see where the arrows are, and I could have a pair of binoculars, but I don't. So I've got to walk down there, see where the arrows are, move my sights, and anyway, so I haven't hit the gold, but I'm hoping they'll group. The bow seems to aim very steady on the target. I find I am more stable with a lower let-off rather than a higher let off. So this is on 90% let off. So let's say this is 65 pounds. So I'm holding 6 pounds back here. I shoot recurve where I hold 50 pounds, right? So I tend to be a little bit more stable, holding more weight. So I would adjust this to have less let off if I was shooting it for myself. A lot of hunters will shoot with high let off because they can just aim for longer and it's easier for them. So let's see how we go. But I find the bow really nice to shoot. As I said, the draw length's a little bit long, but let's see how it goes. One of the problems with the wind blowing is, so I'm here at 40 meters and that target, so the sight pin can move around the goal, like literally from one edge of the goal, just because of the wind. Because the bow's quite light, and when the wind picks up, it means that you're going to get more variation in your groups. But the bow is lovely to shoot. How do I rate it compared to other bows? Look, I'm going to say today all bows are amazing. Like this has big thick axles, big bearings here. Like these bows are just so good today that you've got to say, look, what is one of the best bows and what makes it one of the best bows? So when it comes to Elite, it's got limb locking, it's got the tunability, it's got adjustability of the draw length, and it's got the adjustability of the valley. All really good things that you want in a top of the line bow, and the price is okay, right? So very little warranties. Like it's very rare to get a warranty with an Elite. I cannot tell you how good it was to have that peep sight exactly lined up, and I was lining up the housing over the front sight. Good scope it had too. It just felt fantastic on the Bentham. So we'll see how this one goes. Now, saying all that about the importance of a peep sight and a nice sight and all that, a good recurve archer will outshoot a compound archer, right? So, and it's not saying a good recurve shooter against a good compound shooter. I'm talking a good quality recurve archer against your average compound shooter. The recurve archer will win. No release aid, none of the fancy scopes, none of the fancy peep sights. Just training, right? So it's just, I can't stress enough how much of it's about technique. But this bow feels good. There's no vibration. It's nicely balanced. The grip feels good. It's just really, really good bow. Now one of my problems, this gets in the way of my eye, right, when I'm aiming. And as a result, it gets in the sight pin. I get like shadows because of this is getting in the way. So, and the wind is moving my sight pin all around the gold. It's not shakes from shooting, it's just the little gusts of wind I'm getting behind me. On. This thing is so annoying in front of my eye because I'm focusing on the sight pin, and then this gets in the way and it's distracting from my sight pin. Last arrow. Look, that one, there was no wind. I don't know where it went. But there was no wind. This thing got in the way a bit. But let's go down and have a look at where the arrows are. Look, the Ventum group was much, much better. Right? Much, much better. But I'm going to say there was wind. Now, peep sight and the sight, to be able to line up the two circles, and the draw length was shorter on the Ventum, and that felt more comfortable to lock in. But this is pretty good. I'm very, very happy with this group. Like, that's a 10, 9, 9, you know, close to a 9, 8, 8, 7. Look, that's not bad. Like I said, there's a bit of wind. They actually felt like they were all 10s. They felt like pretty good shots, but my sight pin was moving around quite a bit. Just from the wind. The last shot there was no wind, and that little thing was getting, the little string was getting in my way. So summary, the Elite Eon, 4 pounds, good weight for hunting, 31 inches, axle, good size for hunting. It's the ideal size for hunting. The 7-inch brace height makes it stable. The speed, 336, it's good speed as far as it's not too slow, not too fast. And can something be too fast? Well, it just makes the draw cycle more aggressive. It tends to be harder to shoot. It tends to be just a harder bow overall to get the same consistency with. I like the tunability. I like the fact that I'm not going to have any problems with the bow. Is it any better than the Era? Look, honestly, I don't think so. Which one do I prefer? Look, I'm torn because I'm like, look, Yokes, but I've been in archery for 40 years. I've seen trends come and go. I've seen the Yokes come and go. I do like limb stops. Not that I use them on any of my elites. I don't use elite limb stops on any of my elites, but I have used them before, and I do like the option of having them. I just use the cable stop. So for me, it's not a big difference between one bow or the other bow. If I was getting the Era $500 cheaper than the Eon, then I would buy the Era. Okay, that's my summary of the difference. If they're the same price, I'd buy the new one because it's a new model. Look, I'm more than happy with this. I think if you fitted a peep sight with this, I would get similar results to the Ventum that I did the other day. I think by shortening the draw length and reducing the valley so I've got a little bit more holding weight would be better for me as far as my stability in the shot. It would make me more stable. So my summary, I think the Eon is one of the best bows made, and that's not saying that the other bows aren't good. Bows today are all so good. It's just you look at them and you're going, well, what are you missing? What is this bow missing? And it's like, well, nothing. The grip's good. Feels good to draw back. It's got a roller cable slate. It's got all the adjustability. The limbs aren't under a lot of tension, so they're not going to break. It's got locking system on your limbs. So, okay, my negative points will be you've only got 10 pounds of weight adjustment. So that's a problem. If you buy a 70 and you want to shoot, let's say 55, you can't. I don't think it comes in camo. I think it only comes in black, this color, and maybe a tan. So if you're wanting for camo, it doesn't. And I think that's because of the process Elite use for their camos. Okay, theirs is a infusion process, so I don't think they can do that on carbon. That's my understanding. But just talking about negative points. But overall, the price is good. Elite is a good company to deal with. It's easy to adjust the draw length, easy to adjust the let off, easy to set up. The strings are winner's choice, really good strings, so you don't get any peak rotation with them. You don't need to rip them off and then buy aftermarket strings. You know, one of my things that other shops recommend is fitting aftermarket strings. So you buy your bow, then you put $200 into a set of strings, and then the shop will charge you $100 or $200 to fit them, and now you're down another $100, $400. These strings are perfectly good, just use them. They're good strings. So I would be more than happy to own a Carbon Eon. I think it's one of the premier bows on the market, so that's that. But I really like the Elite magnesium risers, and they do outsell the carbon risers, and I just think the grip is just a smidge narrower. It just feels a little bit more comfortable to me. It could be the bow's way more. I do like a lighter bow for hunting, so maybe for hunting I would choose this over the magnesium riser. Well, I probably would choose this over a magnesium riser for a hunting bow, just because it is lighter. So anyway, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. That's the Elite Eon. You can get them at your local stores. The wait times on Elite is generally around 8 weeks, roughly. Some bows are more in stock than others, so some bows like this one, Elite had 4 of them, but then they had no 60s or they had no blacks, right? So they had 4 of these colours in stock. So I've got 4 of this exact bow in stock, but I don't have any blacks and stuff, right? So because they make one batch and then they'll make another batch. So anyway, but they're generally not too bad. They're pretty good with shipping. Warranty stuff, they're not too bad on. They wait until you've got a shipment to ship the warranty bits out. Some people are going to get angry with that, but the cost of shipping stuff to Australia, it might be $200. And the people aren't paying the $200 postage, so I don't mind the fact that Elite just send it with a regular shipment when they're shipping me regular bows. They are shipped to us via air, so we get them within 7 days of Elite shipping. So, but it's a very, very good product. Thanks for watching. Bye.